everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me in this live section. Guys, another tragedy. Yelewata has been attacked again. It's actually so sad. Yelewata has been attacked again. Now, if you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button, like and share this video. Guys, I have a lot to tell you guys, so stay with me in this live session to get the full gist. So Yelewata has been attacked again. This is not just another case of insecurity. This is a direct, in fact, indictment of Nigeria's leadership. Yes, now let's talk about the last attack that happened in Yelewata. What happened? The chief of defense staff was seen in that place. In fact, that was the most brutal attack, yes, that Nigeria has ever had. Over 200 persons lost their life in their attack. Children were burnt alive. There were so many, casualty in that attack in Yelewata. And what happened? The president went there. The president said he has deployed military personnel. The IGP said this attack will never happen again in Yelewata under his watch. Chief of defense staff said that they are working that this attack will not happen again. What is happening now? Yelewata has been attacked again. It's unfortunate. This is just another, it's not just a case of insecurity. This is a direct indictment of Nigeria's leadership. And, the IGP's promises have just been broken, because the IGP promised in the last, attack that this attack will not happen under his watch again. But what has happened? Another attack has rocked Yelewata despite what the chief of defense staff said. That's what the IGP said as well. So now this is not just another case of insecurity. This is a direct indictment of Nigeria's leadership. It is very clear now that under the watch of Nigerian governments, these bad guys are having their way, destroying communities, buying a lot of people, unaliving people, and then they will get away with it easily. No arrest will be made. No arrest will be made at all. This is so bad. Another attack in Yelewata. If you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. And guys, let me know your thoughts under the comment section. Drop a comment below. So now, like I said, this is not just another case of insecurity, but a direct indictment of Nigeria's bad leadership. Barely 2 months ago, over 200 people were slaughtered in this same community, Yelewata. And the Inspector General of Police, the highest ranking law enforcement officer in Nigeria, came to Yelewata, stood before the people and promised that this, attack would never happen again. Today, that promise is lying in, that promise lies in the dust, just, like the lives of those died in this latest attack. Now, let me now tell you what happened in the early hours of Monday, which is today. Bad guys invaded Yelewata once more. The shots echoed through the night, leaving residents scrambling for safety. By morning, the air was filled with both grief and rage, guys. So they attacked in the night of Sunday. They attacked till Monday, guys. Monday in the morning, guys. When they came out, out of their house, they saw a lot of bodies were lying on the floor. And then, let me now clear you that this happened while armed soldiers were already stationed in the community. So now, this attack happened when soldiers were already stationed in the community, guys. This happened under their watch. They were already in the community. If the Nigerian government cannot prevent an attack in a place where it has deployed security forces, what hope is there for unprotected villagers? Like I said, this happened when armed soldiers were already stationed in Yelewata community. But then they did not do anything. They did not try to, engage these bad guys. The bad guys had their way in the community, did what they came to do, and then they left untouched, unarrested. They did not arrest anybody. If Nigerian government, because in the last attack that happened in Yelewata, Tinubu said he has deployed men. They deployed soldiers, to go to Yelewata to protect the place. Then what happened? Where is these military personnel they deployed to Yelewata? And then residents said that military men were in that place when the attack was happening. They were stationed in the community. So now, if Nigerian government cannot prevent an attack in a place where it has already deployed security forces, what hope is there for unprotected villages? What hope? Women poured into the streets in the protest. They are protesting right now. They protested today concerning the killing that happened in Yelewata. They didn't come with empty slogans. They came with a message of no confidence. They called for soldiers to be withdrawn entirely, because there's no use of them being called soldier in Yelewata, because they are not engaging these bad guys. Now, let me now tell you what happened in Yelewata. In case you don't know the story of what happened in Yelewata months ago, that's 2 months ago. There was this white man that came out. I don't know if you have come across this video, but I'm going to play that video in this live section. There's this white man that came out to say that, Nigerian governments are actually complicit in the attack happening in Nigeria. That in the last attack that happened in Yelewata, that they informed, in fact, before the attack happened, that he actually informed the federal government, informed the military, informed DSS, informed the police, but nothing happened to prevent the attack. They said they made, in fact, I'm going to play you that video to hear everything the man said. So you can see the villagers said that, soldiers should be withdrawn entirely from Yelewata because they're not doing anything, accusing them of being useless in the face of danger. Yes, this white man said that, soldiers were out less than a kilometer away. What they were doing is just to open fire arms on the air. They did not engage these bandits, these bad guys. So these villagers, they were protesting. Now look, take a look at the protest that happened in Yelewata. The villagers, they were, protesting seriously. Take a look, guys. So that was the protest that happened after the attack. These women, they poured into the streets in protest. They did not just they didn't come with empty slogans. They came with the message of no confidence. Yes, they called for the soldiers to be withdrawn entirely, accusing them of being useless in the face of danger. Some even demanded immediate relocation to Makurdi. They said they should relocate them to Makurdi, openly stating that the government has failed in its most basic duty to protect life and properties, which is to protect the lives of citizens. The government has failed. Every time Benue State is under siege, every time Benue State is boiling, every time Benue State, these bad guys attack Benue State, but nothing happens. Even after deploying military men, nothing happens. It's actually very bad. This thing happened today, this morning, Monday, this morning, happened today. When people are begging to be, do you know that now in Nigeria, people are even begging for the government to protect them, when it's the right responsibility of the president and Nigerian government to protect citizens and the lives of people and properties. When people are begging to be evacuated from their own homes, this is not just insecurity, this is a collapse of governance. Now, let me remind you that on June 13th, Yelewata suffered one of the deadliest massacres in Benue's history. On June 13th, Yelewata suffered one of the deadliest massacres in Benue's history, which I'm going to expose some things concerning the attack. How a white man came out to say that, their team gathered some intelligence reports, and then they reported to the Nigerian government of the attack that was coming. They were sensing the attack and they reported to Nigerian government, but nothing happened. Even a day before the attack, they actually informed Nigerian government multiple times, but nothing happened to prevent the attack. So now, June 13th, Yelewata suffered one of the deadliest massacres in the history of Benue State. More than 200 people, including internal displaced persons, they lost their life in cold blood. People that were the people they mostly by that day was people that was displaced, that came to Yelewata to live as refugees. They still came there to buy them. Some were shot, others buried alive. The image was so I couldn't even watch that scene because it was so terrifying and shocking. The IGP came in the scene. We saw the video. He promised swift action and assured city residents that they would never face such a tragedy again. What has happened? Another one has happened again. 2 months later, this bandit has returned. So either the IGP's words were meaningless, or the Nigerian state is incapable or unwilling to defend its people. Now, I want to play a video for you guys to listen to hear what this man said about Yelewata attack, saying that the government is actually complicit to attacks going on in Nigeria. Now, take a look at this man. Take a look at what he said, and I'll be right back.
Ignore the fact that there is Nigerian government complicity with these attacks. You saw some of our journalists in the documentary. We wanted to be an organization that tells the truth about what's happening in Nigeria, hence truthnigeria.com. I want to just kind of let everybody know and help you understand how Nigerian news works. If a Nigerian government official does not call for a news conference, the event did not exist. So in order for the narrative to get to the mainstream media, get picked up by Al Jazeera, get picked up by CNN, everything else, it comes from a Nigerian government source. From the very beginning, they determine the narrative. The reporters regurgitate the government narrative. We decided to be a voice and try to help change that paradigm and created Truth Nigeria to document what is actually happening. How many of you guys know that there were 10 Christians killed in Kaduna just the other day? How many of you know that there were 30 Christians killed in Plateau just a week ago? How many of you know that besides the 280 Christians that were killed in Yelewata on June 13th, we are now about over 500 Christians that have been killed total since Yelewata? No one knows. The media is not reporting it. Well, that's why we formed Truth Nigeria, to talk about what is going on. But also, what we pointed out in the documentary that I'd like everybody to realize is that Truth Nigeria had information that the attack on Yelewata was going to occur 3 weeks before the attack happened. Now, when we get a terror alert, we find information, we know attacks are going to occur, our method is we issue a terror alert on our website, truthnigeria.com, but we also immediately call the local authorities. We notify the Nigerian military, the DSS, the Nigerian government, to let them know this is what we found out, this is our intelligence. Now, a day before the attack, we got word that there's movement happening. They are mobilizing, and they are coming for Yelewata. So the day before, our team notified the government, the local authorities, the army, the police, and said, hey, there's movement, they're coming, watch out. What happened? Absolutely nothing. The government stood by and did nothing with advance warning multiple times. In fact, there's a military fob with soldiers that was less than a kilometer away while the attacks were going on, shooting warning shots in the air, but did not engage the terrorists as people were being burned to death, hacked to death with machetes, and being slaughtered.
So, guys, you heard what this white man said. So now, in case you don't understand what he said, let me just briefly explain what he said in that video. He said in the last attack that happened in Yelewata, the one that, the one that died 200 people. You guys know that one. That was the most brutal attack Nigeria has ever had, guys. That was the most brutal attack that, Benue State have ever had. 200 lives. You will say there are many countries, that are at war, but, they have not had this kind of casualty. That was what they were saying as at then. But you see, Nigeria is not at war, and then 200 lives have gone just like that because of, terrorists. The government allows these people to come and do what, buy people, and then they get away with it. Now, this one said in the attack that happened in Yelwata that they be 3 weeks before the attack, they sensed it, and then they made their findings. And what they did was they said whenever they notice that turn is about to occur or an attack is about to occur, they said that he told the Nigerian government about the attack that will happen in Yelewata in Benue State. What did the Nigerian government do? They did not do anything. He said he informed the DSS, he informed police, he informed the military, informed the Nigerian government, but nothing happened. They informed them multiple times. He informed them of this attack multiple times. Even a day before the attack, he informed them, but nothing happened. Nothing happened. And he said that these bad guys came by people, but military soldiers, military men, Nigerian military, they were, less than a kilometer away. What they were doing was opening firearms on the air. They did not engage these bad guys. You can see why, the people of Yelewata are saying that these soldiers should entirely leave their village. Because, them being there is actually meaningless since they cannot protect them and they are there. So what's the essence of, them being in their village? Now, let me now tell you that Yelewata is not an isolated case. From Plateau to Southern Kaduna to Benue and other local, other communities are being overturned by attackers who seems to operate with impunity. Now, this is not random. This is systematic. Security agencies appear reactive, not proactive. They are not even active at all. They appear reactive, not proactive. They arrive after the blood has been spilled. after the homes have been burnt, after the survivors have already been have buried their dead. That's when they appear. When the survivors have already buried their dead. Medicine after death. And each time the government issues the same recycled statement, they say they will come out and they say they will condemn this attack, we will bring the perpetrators to justice, but justice never comes. That was what the IGP did in the last attack that happened in Yelewata, that claimed 200 lives. That's what he did. Now another one has happened. What will you say? That's statements he made, by he's going to, he will make sure that this will not happen under his watch. Has it not happened? Has another one not happened under his watch? The IGP, must be held accountable for his failed promises. It is not enough to show up in, uniform for after any attack that happened, they will come out and talk and still go back. Nothing happens. And the Nigerian government, from the presidency down to the state authorities, must answer one question. How is it that armed killers can strike a community twice in 2 months under the very noise of deployed security forces? How can we have senators? How can we have, the minister of whatever, think security or whatever? Where can we have them there? Have the president alone self as the commander in chief of armed forces, which is to protect lives and property. How can we have them there? And then these attacks are happening. There's no security, there's no gathering, there's no information gathering, there's no security gathering. Just like that. Can you imagine? There's one man that said it is better that we don't have these people than we have them and all these things are happening. Ending of the month, they will pack salary and go to their houses. If the government can't answer this question, then it has no moral authority to claim it's protecting its people. Because we can actually boldly say that they are not protecting us in this country. Because we cannot have them and all these attacks are happening. Yelewata tragedy is a warning. When community lose trust in their government's ability to protect them, they take matters into their own hands. And that leads to chaos. The Nigerian state is crumbling at its most basic responsibility. Keeping its citizens alive is its basic responsibility. And if that doesn't change, we'll be back here again reporting yet another massacre. See, let me tell you, the last attack that happened in Yelewata, the president came out, the one that claimed 200 life. The president came out, I was like, this forget all this drama. But the chief of defense staff was saying in the scene, the IGP, I was like, forget all this drama. This thing will not stop until they choose to stop it. These attacks will not stop until they are finally ready and sure they will stop it. If Nigerian government wants to end insecurity today, they can. You can't tell me that we have the military, we have police, we have navy, mention them, and still common foreigners outside are, picking up guns to buy people. Community members are crying every blessed time. Every time they are, there is mass burial. The fact that soldiers were already stationed in Yelewata, because it was reported that soldiers were stationed in Yelewata when this attack happened, but they did nothing. The fact that soldiers were already stationed in Yelewata, yet the attackers still struck, is not just negligence. It raises suspicion. Where the soldiers under-equipped, where soldiers, under-equipped, under-trained, or deliberately looking the other way. In some past incidents across Nigeria, locals have accused security operatives of either arriving late, on purpose, or even collaborating with the attackers. This is why trust in the system is collapsing. Now, take a look at the one that happened in, I think it happened in Plateau State. Yeah, they accused soldiers of arriving. They did not respond on time. That if they responded on time, that these people will not have, by. Take a look at the attack that happened. I was so sad. They accused soldiers of, not responding on time. In some past incidents across Nigeria, just like the one that happened in Plateau State, locals accused security operative of arriving late on purpose or even collaborating with the attackers. Even this white man, I just played this video. In case you've not watched that video, I'm going to play it before, in this live session again. They accused him of, being away. Soldiers were less than a kilometer away What they were doing was just to open fire, so that people will believe that they are engaging them. Why they're not engaging them? They're leaving the attackers. They did not, engage these terrorists. Take a look at how the people in the community was accusing soldiers of, not responding on time. Take a look.
These are the scenes that welcomed one into the affected village of Jebu in Riom local government area of Plateau State early Tuesday morning. The village was thrown into shock and mourning when they were attacked with guns and machetes and their houses set ablaze.
Around 3 a.m., this community was attacked by the attackers. And of course, we thought the place was going to be protected, as the security men from the Sector 6 came with 2 gun trucks. And I was satisfied that my people are well protected.
Sincerely, it is very sad and unfortunate that up to today, these things have not come to an end. You have just witnessed, you've gone around together here, you've seen the dead bodies yourself. 27 people lying down.
While security personnel from different agencies were seen on the ground, the locals blamed them for late response, alleging complicity.
In fact, there was an early warning information, but we called. We didn't get response. If to say the security responded at the time we called them, this wouldn't have happened.
This is part of the collusion and the complicity of the security agents that have been sent to respond to a distress call, but they couldn't, and it led to this. The present STF commander, the sector commander, that is here in Rio, sincerely we are not comfortable with this man. We must commend the STF operatives that were stationed at SOAP, because if not that they have stood their ground, the actually fatality would have been higher than this.
The dead were said to have been taken away for burial, while their loved ones left to mourn them make their demands known.
In other climes, you have the federal police, you have the state police, and you have county police. Even universities in other climes have their own police system. And until we begin to do this and forget about whatever resources we will spend and protect lives and properties of citizens, we'll be doing nothing.
I am calling on the governor as the chief security of this state. He should do something to Riom local government. He should do something to these people. People are becoming homeless. People are becoming fatherless. People are becoming motherless.
If these killings continue like this and government did not take any action on it, we will definitely tell the youth what to do. And they should not blame us at the end of the day of what we are telling our members to do. Why? Because we will not continue to die in the hands of people helplessly.
Now with what has happened here today, not only the aged, the youth, babies, toddlers were all affected. They were killed. What they're asking for, I'm sorry doing this, but what they're asking for is that justice be done, that government.
So this particular attack happened in Plateau State. So why I played this video is for you to say that, there are some attack that happened, past incident that happened that locals have actually accused security operative of either arriving late or on purpose or even collaborating with the attackers. Just like you heard the victims, the survivors of this attack complain that security operative, you said that some even said that they came to their they had a morning information, and then they were calling security operative, the military, but they did not respond. You see the what they are doing. They don't arrive on time. They don't. So somebody asked, where is this happening? Actually, the video I just played now, it happened in Plateau State, but this current one that happened in Yelewata, Benue State. Yelewata, Benue State. Another attack happened in Yelewata, Benue State after the one that happened that claimed 200 lives. Another one has happened. Despite the IGP's promises that it will not happen under his watch again, another one has happened. So we are asking, where is the president? What is his duty in this country? What is it? Why do we even have them in this country? We have the military, we have the navy, we have the police, but we still live under fear. Residents in Yelewata, even all over the country, are living in constant fear Children are growing up hearing gunshots, running. Instead of morning prayer, children will be hearing gunshots every time. They'll be running for their life. Little children. The trauma from the June 13th massacre hasn't healed itself. The trauma that happened, some people came out and said that they lost 20 of their family members in that attack. 20. A man came out to say that 20 of his family members, he lost them in that attack that claimed 200 lives. They have not healed from that June 13th massacre. Another one has happened. And now, this one now just reopened like a fresh wound. This kind of insecurity destroys not only lives, but also the social fabric of a community. Families scattered, farming, they stopped farming, school shut down because of this attack. It happened in Nigeria. Somebody is saying the country happened in Nigeria, Benue State, Yelewata community, Nigeria. So now every attack forces farmers to abandon their field during planting or even harvesting season. There are many farmers that have left. Now, Dele Farotimi said he left how many hectares of land because of these bad guys? Once this stuff happened, this attack that happened, they mostly attack farmers. And once these things start happening, once farmers start dying like this will deepen hunger and poverty in Nigeria and in Benue State. Benue State is called the food basket of this nation. And it's in this Benue State that attack mostly happens. Attack mostly happens in Benue State, a state that is known for food. It affects the rest of the country. The food supply chain is disrupted. It affects it. Benue has been a hotspot for violent attacks for over a decade now, especially in Goma, Agatu, and this Yelewata. Each time the government claims to be on top of the situation, yet the killings continue. Yelewata's case is not just the latest chapter in a long book of neglect and failed promises. Yelewata is the case of the latest chapter in a long book of neglect and failed promises. They come out to say, just like the other time the IGP came out to say that this will not happen in his watch, but this has happened in his watch again. So what else will you tell the public now? They will still come and say we're on top of the situation, yet the killing still continues to happen. When a leader like the Inspector General of Police make a public promises after such a tragedy, it carries weight. If that promise is broken so quickly, it tells the entire country that officials' assurance means nothing. Somebody said destabilizing taxes. Yes, now. Is it now? That is it. This is the tactics they are using. I don't understand how all these things will be happening under the watch of guys. We have the military, we have the police. Tell me, we have different security outfits in Nigeria. What is happening? We have the DSS. What are they now? What are they now doing? Are they leaving their job to do another thing? So I feel this is a deliberate thing. I feel all this thing is deliberate because these people cannot be buying people every blessed time and getting away with it. No arrest. That's the mind-blowing thing. Anytime you hear about attack, no arrest is followed. No arrest follows. No arrest. For what is their work? They respond to attack late. When they've already finished, when these bad guys have already finished, finished doing what they want to do. When people are now mourning is when the military men arrive. Medicine after death. So why do we not have them in the country? Why do we have these military men in the country? As a matter of fact, these military men are even complaining. I mean the good ones, so saying that they're underpaid. You can see, imagine what is happening. They don't even pay them when they don't do that. Their morale for fighting for the country has gone down. So then who are we to blame now? Who are we to blame? Who are we to blame when military men are crying that they are hungry? Crying that look at where they are living. There was this video I posted, lately. Okay, let me just share you guys with the video. Let me share the video with you guys. A military man was saying, look at where we are living. Look at how we are fighting for Nigeria. They want to come back. They don't want to fight again. Their morale is low. They are hungry and they're fighting. How can a hungry man be fighting? Take a look.
Allah, Tinubu, you get mind, oh. You get mind. See where men they face. See where men they face. You get mind, they pay footballer almost 100 and something million. See where man is sleep. See where person they sleep. Ha, Tinubu, why they do like this? See na person room be this. See. This one alive be this. Eh? I mean, how you want me to just stay to survive with 100k, 103? You don't even get mind to even to say you go increase for army salary. We maybe say private soldier may even collect like 200k. Last couple in the job, you know, if you collect like 250, 300, except you thought say then get one of areas where person go get it in. See. Come on, do work. See, yes, we are this thing. Which can lie with it? It's in my bag. Which can lie? This one alive. See, a soldier house with this. So how many I want you to show? Say how many I want you to show now? I be when they pay money. When they pay money now, officers they chop on me. I don't believe this thing. I believe so when I don't pay. Because anytime we wanna approve, everything they for all those senators, presidents, they wanna hand. If no one help, when I go help us, I swear. See where person they stay. See bush with the face. You see where soldiers they stay. This can't lie with this one. But when I consider human being, a person will be, I swear. A person picking will be. If I talk now, they will say, "Who send me?" Say, "I go join soldiers." See, if they pay the salary, and me and you go help. And me and you go chop the money. No be so. How much in the pay us where you go think say yes, mostly they come on inside. If I tell you, now we they sacrifice ourselves for Nigeria, now we no still know this stinging. Cause as for me I the zero mind they come on money they give person. Upon see, no be so stinginess based on how they pay us, and so with you with the remit outside do. No be so. Ha, oh boy, Tinubu, you know try, Allah, you know try.
So for some people that is asking which country, Nigeria, Benue State, Yelewata community. It happened in Nigeria, in Benue State, Yelewata community happened again. Another attack has rocked, Yelewata again. So that video I just played was a soldier complaining of, poor living as a person fighting, sacrificing his life, sacrificing for Nigeria, fighting for, Nigeria. He was complaining. And I've heard that they don't even give them weapons. So some residents of the community were blaming blaming the soldiers, security agents for not arriving on time. So I'm asking, who are we to blame when these people are complaining that they don't have weapon? So probably they might be running away because these bad guys have more sophisticated weapon than them. So where are we to blame? I think we need to blame Nigerian government. They push out billions of naira for security every year, but they don't pay the soldiers well, bringing down their morale to fight for Nigeria. They don't even equip them well with weapons. So how can they fight when he has not even eaten? So who are we to blame now? IGP, promised that this attack will not happen in Yelewata, but it has happened again. Many Nigerians believe political interests are influencing security decision, allowing certain attacks to act without consequences. Many people believe that Nigerian government is complicit to this attack going on. Every time we are hearing attack in Yelewata in different states in Nigeria, and then these people go free. They go free. But you will see someone that come out to protest that he or she is hungry. They will arrest them. What kind of country is this? If Yelewata can be attacked twice in 2 months despite heavy security presence, what stops the same attackers from striking other protected areas? Now, let me now tell you something. The last time when this attack happened in Yelewata, youths came out and they were protesting, saying, they should end the killings. What happened? Guess what? They opened tear gas on them. That is Nigeria for you. An attack that by 200 people, these youths were protesting, saying, end the killing in the country peacefully. They opened tear gas on them. What should people do again? What are we going to do in this country? What will citizens do in this country when they go out to protest? They buy them. Now, survivors of the June 13th massacre that happened in Yelwata are still living, in they have not even recovered from that injury. They are still healing. Because there was this man that, where he packed his rice, he's a farmer, where he packed his rice, burnt down, means millions of naira gone. It was people like Very Dark Man that was now compensating him, give him some dollars. So people have not even healed from what happened in the last attack in June 13th. But another one has happened. Some people, they have little food, no medical support, and no psychological help. Now this thing has happened in Yelewata. Will the president go and compensate the people that lost their loved ones? But the president can go and be lavishing money on unnecessary things. Insecurity in Nigeria is not just a state problem, it's a federal issue. The Nigerian constitution clearly states that the protection of lives and property is the primary duty of the government. So this? I don't know. They see Nigerians as cow. Why is it that it is our right to be protected? The Nigerian constitution states clearly that is the primary duty of the government to protect lives and property. That the protection of lives and property is the primary duty of the government. Every death in Yelewata is a direct failure of that constitutional duty. Somebody said, this person said, Nigeria is another hell on earth and is spreading everywhere. Will you doubt what this person said? That is why many people don't want to even live in Nigeria. They're looking for a way to run out, even if it's following illegal routes. Many people are risking their life following illegal routes just to run away from Nigeria. Nigeria is not good for anyone to live. You might leave your house, despite the cost of living is high in Nigeria, you leave your house to go and hustle, to put food on the table for your children to eat. And then you don't know whether you will come back because, you're walking on the road, you're walking with fear. You're living in fear. You're living in fear. You might leave your home, you might leave your house and, to go and, look for daily bread. You might meet them, these bad guys. This is how they will buy you and your own will go. No justice for you. No justice for you. So somebody says something. Let's look at it. He said, Nigeria is a theater of absurdities, but I'm sure the response of Nigerians Nigerians very soon will shock the political class. Yes. You see this thing Nigerian government are doing? This thing Nigerian government are doing, they should just calm down. A time will come when 200 millions, they see Nigerians as cow, when they will rise up and demand an end to this bad governance. A time will come. What they will do will shock them and they will run away. They will hide. They will hide. Insecurity in Nigeria is not just a state problem, it's now a federal problem. The Nigerian constitution clearly states that, like I said, the protection of life and property is the primary duty of the government. Every death in Yelewata is a direct failure of that, of the constitution. Now, given the repeated failures, Yelewata deserves an independent investigation, not just another community led by the same agency that failed them. Now, let me now tell you, in case you have not watched that video, let me now tell you of what this white man said. Take your time, listen to what this man said.
You cannot ignore the fact that there is Nigerian government complicity with these attacks. You saw some of our journalists in the documentary. We wanted to be an organization that tells the truth about what's happening in Nigeria, hence truthnigeria.com. I want to just kind of let everybody know and help you understand how Nigerian news works. If a Nigerian government official does not call for a news conference, the event did not exist. So in order for the narrative to get to the mainstream media, get picked up by Al Jazeera, get picked up by CNN, everything else, it comes from a Nigerian government source. From the very beginning, they determine the narrative. The reporters regurgitate the government narrative. We decided to be a voice and try to help change that paradigm, and created Truth Nigeria to document what is actually happening. How many of you guys know that there were 10 Christians killed in Kaduna just the other day? How many of you know that there were 30 Christians killed in Plateau just a week ago? How many of you know that besides the 280 Christians that were killed in Yelewata on June 13th, we are now about over 500 Christians that have been killed total since Yelewata? No one knows. The media is not reporting it. Well, that's why we formed Truth Nigeria, to talk about what is going on. But also, what we pointed out in the documentary that I'd like everybody to realize is that Truth Nigeria had information that the attack on Yelewata was going to occur 3 weeks before the attack happened. Now, when we get a terror alert, we find information, we know attacks are going to occur, our method is we issue a terror alert on our website, truthnigeria.com, but we also immediately call the local authorities. We notify the Nigerian military, the DSS, the Nigerian government, to let them know this is what we found out, this is our intelligence. Now, a day before the attack, we got word that there's movement happening. They are mobilizing, and they are coming for Yelewata. So the day before, our team notified the government, the local authorities, the army, the police, and said, hey, there's movement, they're coming, watch out. What happened? Absolutely nothing. The government stood by and did nothing, with advance warning multiple times. In fact, there's a military fob with soldiers that was less than a kilometer away while the attacks were going on, shooting warning shots in the air, but did not engage the terrorists as people were being burned to death, hacked to death with machetes, and being slaughtered.
Let's talk about what real poverty looks like. Okay, a lot of Americans and Westerners have a very, very perverted view of what poverty is. And Nigeria poverty means if you have a good job in Nigeria, you make $100 a month. That's a good job in Nigeria, $100 a month. That means you're successful. Imagine all that being taken away from you. You don't have television, you don't have power, they don't have running water. But making $100 a month means you're providing really good for your family, and all that's gone. Now you have nothing left. That is the terror that these Muslim terrorists are inflicting on Nigerian Christians.
And also the terror of being asleep in your bed at night.
Yeah.
And hearing the motorbikes, because these terrorists, they like to come in on motorbikes, and then they just massacre everything that moves. Anything that moves, and the people that get killed most of the time are the ones that can't run fast enough, and that's the children and the elderly. The pregnant moms. The pregnant moms, the children, the elderly. Mm. And that's one of the most heartbreaking things that I see is what kind of animal would hack up a little child to death with a machete. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you shoot a mother who's pregnant? Why would you burn an elderly person alive? This is the kind of stuff we are dealing with every week in Nigeria, and it's silent. Well, I know when I was reporting on this a few years ago, there was over, around 100,000 people already killed in this genocide, Christians. Yes. And then, and now it's much more than that. And all the journalists I talked to, in Truth Nigeria, they all say the numbers are going up. It's escalating. Yeah, it's escalating. It's escalating more and more, and it's being downplayed more and more even by the Nigerian government. There's so many. If it weren't for Truth Nigeria, you wouldn't hear about 90% of the attacks. 100%. If there weren't for Truth Nigeria, you wouldn't hear about it. And let me tell you, one of the reasons I started Truth Nigeria is just because of my background in being a filmmaker, being a person who has a quest for truth. I ran into our journalists like Masara Masara Kim, like Lawrence Sango and Mike O'Day. And I saw guys who don't care. They're willing to risk it all. They're willing to risk their lives to bring people the truth. That's the kind of people we have at Truth Nigeria. They're willing to lay it all on the line. I'm like, if they're willing to lay it all on the line, I'm willing to support you. I'm willing to support these efforts to get the truth out. And why? Because at the end of the day, they're willing to risk their lives to save their country and to save their fellow Christians.
You know, the first time I interviewed Masara Kim, one of the things he said to me that I never forgot was, I said, Masara, you know, you're right there living in these villages, right in this area where they're killing Christians, and you're exposing it.
Yeah.
I said, you know, aren't you worried you're going to be killed? And he said, oh, Mom, he said, I am very lucky. Most of my friends are dead. And he said, I have already lived, you know, longer than the rest of them. And, you know, he was just basically telling me he was on borrowed time. And Lawrence Zongo told me, it's not a question of if, it's when. So it's not just about being brave. It's really continuing to do the right thing and expose this all in a situation where you fully accept that what you're doing will result in your death at some point.
Right. And they're willing. They're willing to risk their lives to do
it
this.
anyway.
To do it anyway.
So guys, you heard what these, you know, whites, these foreigners said. They actually said, they said that they actually gave reports to Nigerian government of the attack that happened in June 13th. They informed the Nigerian government, but they did nothing. That makes them complicit to the attack going on in Yelewata, which individuals has actually accused So some individuals have actually accused, the security forces and Nigerian government of them being complicit, because we can't have the president, we can't have the IGP, we can't have all these security outfits in Nigeria, and still Nigeria is under siege. Nigeria is at the brink of collapsing because of bad guys. After every attack in Nigeria, the Nigerian government releases almost identical statements. They say we'll condemn the killing, we'll bring the perpetrators to justice, but nothing happens after it. But if we compare these statements over the years, after the Agutu in 2016 to Goma in 2018, the Yelewata in 2024, and now in 2025, they are copy and paste speeches with no real outcomes. Yelewata proves that condemnation without action is worthless. Every time an attack happens and there is no visible justice, Nigerians conclude that the state values their life less than political interest. They don't value the lives of Nigerians. They value politics first. All these things is happening, but then what they're talking about is the 2027 election. That is just 2 months. 2 years. It's still far. But people are dying, you're talking about it. This loss of trust pushes communities to think about self-defense. That's what people are thinking now. Like one man said in one video, he said if they don't act to bring all these perpetrators to justice and stop the killings in this country, that they will tell the people what next to do, and that's self-defense, which can spiral. It can turn out into lawlessness and vigilant killing. So a country where people no longer trust their police or army is a country heading towards chaos. After the June massacre, the IGP was quiet to appear in Yelewata for the camera, but after the second attack, where is he? It has happened again. I thought he would come out and talk. He's nowhere to be found. Leadership is not about showing up once for publicity. It's about staying on the ground until the job is done. Gunmen don't just appear out of their air. They plan, they mobilize, they travel with weapons. Where is the DSS? Where is the intelligence unit of the police? Where is the DSS? Where are these people? What they care for? Is it about Mazen and Kanu's kids? Is that their priority? If security agencies cannot, detect armed movement in such a small, already vulnerable area like Yelewata, then either their system have collapsed or they are willfully ignoring the threats. Yelewata is a very small community. They even get information, like according to what this white man said, he said they actually informed the DSS, informed the police, Nigerian government, and other security outfit that an attack is coming. They are mobilizing, but they did nothing. So you can see, if the security agents cannot detect armed movements in such a small area like Yelewata, then either their system has collapsed or they are willfully ignoring the threat. Attacks like this in Benue often linked to herdsmen, they often link it to herders farmers tension. They're operating on that narrative. If government keeps failing to act decisively, to stop the killings, it could spread beyond Benue, putting the entire middle belt into a deeper crisis. It has already become, Nigeria, in fact, is the headquarters of, these bandits. In fact, is a heaven for these terrorists. Benue is called the food basket of the nation, yet the same land that feeds Nigeria is soaked in blood. Farmers are abandoning fertile lands because they don't want to die. This is not just Benue loss, it is a national food security disaster in the making, because Benue is the food basket of Nigeria, of the nation. By failing to protect Yelewata, the Nigerian government is sending a dangerous signal to armed group. What they are saying is, attack where you want, when you want, and nothing will happen to you. That is the message they are sending to these bandits, to these bad guys. Criminals strive when they see that the state's threats are hollow. You will see more criminals will deploy, like more people will join these criminals because they feel that, nothing will happen to them after the attack. Rather, they will reward them. Many soldiers and police officers are in rural deployments and complain of poor welfare. Many soldiers and police officers in rural deployments complain of poor welfare, lack of equipment, and corruption among their commanders. Just like the video I showed you of a man complaining of, hunger, lack of money. You see that security forces, their morale go down to fight for the country. In case you've not watched that video, now take a look at the clip of this video, then I'll be right back.
Wallahi, Tinubu, you get mind, oh. You get mind. See where men they face. See where men they face. You get mind, they pay footballer almost 100 and something million. See where man they sleep. See where person they sleep. Ha, Tinubu, why they do like this? See na person room be this. See. This one alive be this. Eh? I mean, how you want me to just stay to survive with 100k, 103? You don't even get mind to even to say you go increase for army salary. We maybe say private soldier may even collect like 200k. Last corporal in the job, if you collect like 250, 300, except you thought say then get one of areas where person go get it in. See. Come on, do Warika. See, yes, we are this thing. Which can lie with you? It's in my bag. Which can lie? This one alive. See, a soldier house with you. So how many I want you to show? Say how many I want you to show now? I be when they pay money. When they pay money now, officers they chop on me. I don't believe this thing. I believe so when I don't pay. Because anytime we wanna approve, everything they for all those senators, presidents, they wanna hand. If no one help, when I go help us, I swear. See where person they stay. See bush with the face. You see where soldiers they stay. This can't lie with this one. But when I consider human being, a person will be, I swear. A person picking will be. If I talk now, they will say, who send me? Say, I go join soldiers. See, if they pay the salary, and me and you go help, and me and you go chop the money. Be so. How much in the pay us where you go think say yes, mostly they come on inside. If I tell you, now we they sacrifice ourselves for Nigeria, now we still know this thing. Because as for me, I the zero mind, they come on money they give person. upon. See, maybe it's not stinginess based on how they pay on, and so with you with the remit outside do. Maybe so. Ha. Oh boy, Tinubu, you know try, Allah, you know try.
So you can see what that soldier said. He was showing where they live, people that are fighting for Nigeria. See, let me now tell you guys something. When frontline forces are demoralized, when they're unpaid, just like this man was complaining, when do you know that they can't effectively defend communities like Yelewata? Their morale go down to fight for the country. Some even turn to extorting locals instead of protecting them. So guys, you can see. Now, in the attack that happened in June in this same Yelewata, should be a wake-up call for the state and for the federal authorities. They would have been alert. What happened? They went back to sleep. They've always been sleeping. Just that in that attack, they came out to, as camouflage to show that they are there. Medicine after death. And then after this thing, they went back to sleep. The June massacre should have been a wake-up call for both the states and federal authorities. Instead of using it to overhaul security operation in Benue State, they allowed lives to return to normal until the latest bloodshed, guys. This shows the government is not living from history, is not learning from history at all, but repeating it. These people are not learning from the attacks that happened. And do you know that these bad guys, they use the same method they use to attack people? So why is it that they cannot just trace it, and these military men cannot trace it and prevent such attack or even engage them? Mass killings like Yelewata are rarely reported in international media, which means there is little global pressure on Nigeria to act. If the outside world saw what happened in Yelewata, oh my God, maybe the Nigerian government will be forced to prioritize rural security instead of, brushing it outside. When the IGP declared that Yelewata would never face such tragedy again, it was not just a promise, it was a public guarantee. It was assuring them when it happened in June 13th. Now, that guarantee is in shred now, and every Nigerian has seen the government reduced to dust. This isn't just a Yelewata betrayal, it is a betrayal of national trust. After the camera leaves, the story of victims fade away. The widow struggling to feed their children, the orphan who now have no future. Because in this attack, many have turned to orphans, many have turned to widows. The injured ones who can't afford hospital bills because there is no state-sponsored rehabilitation for attack survivors, but there is rehabilitation for terrorists. Where is the governor of Benue State in all this? After the June attack, he vowed to protect his people, yet here we are again. Both state and federal authorities have failed to coordinate a permanent security pressure that actually works. Why? That attack that happened that claimed the lives of 200 people in Yelewata, that was supposed to be a wake-up call for both the state and federal. But they have failed to coordinate a permanent security presence that actually work. These attackers who claimed the lives of 200 people in June has not been arrested, guys. It happened in June. None of them have been arrested. And another one has happened. There will not still be any arrest. This emboldens them to strike again. When you don't arrest them, when the government don't even complain, when they are silent, it emboldens them to strike again, knowing that there will be no consequences. In Nigeria today, too often mass killing goes unpunished. And that is why they keep happening. Soldiers and police in rural areas are rarely investigated for their failures. If Yelewata had been a VIP community or the home of a powerful politician, would the same negligence, would it happen? You see this double standard, protecting the rich while ignoring the poor, is destroying Nigerian social contracts. Billions are budgeted for national security every year, yet rural communities like Yelewata see no improvement. Where is the money going to? Why is Nigeria spending on fighters jets for distant threats? Why failing to protect villages from well-known, predictable local attacks? You can actually predict this attack because it's a local attack. In a moment like this, Nigerian politician elites suddenly go quiet. They are silent. They don't even say anything. No emergency debates in the National Assembly, no presidential visits, no strong condemnation that leads to an actual policy change. It's as if rural blood is cheap. And that is the silent message being sent. 2 months is enough time to prepare, deploy rapid response units, and gather information to prevent another attack. But they just went to sleep and another one happened. The fact that none of this happened means either the intelligence service are incompetent or the threat was deliberately ignored. The fact that nothing happened, like, the 2 months gap, that it happened in June in Yelewata, and then another one, we are seeing another one right now. It happened yesterday again. 2 months is enough to actually prepare, deploy rapid response units, and gather information to prevent another attack from happening in Yelewata. But these people, they went back to sleep. If the facts did not happen, that means the intelligence services are incompetent or the threat was deliberately ignored. The internally displaced persons who fled from other conflicts came to Yelewata thinking it was safer. They came to Yelewata thinking it was safer. Now they have been attacked again. Some of the second or the third time in just a few years. This shows that Nigerians' IDP protection system is broken and unprepared. You see, what is happening in Benue is part of a bigger storm across the Middle Belt. Targeted killing, ethnic tension, and government inaction. If this pattern continues, it could lead to full-scale regional instability that Nigeria will not be able to contain. That is just the truth. So we have come to the end of this live session. Do well to hit that subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts under the comment section. Also drop a like for us. Also share this video so that others can get this information as well. Thank you for watching and have a good night rest.